Hi, everyone. It's Amanda Rieger Green. Welcome to Soul Sessions. Thank you for joining me today. You don't want to miss this episode. We're going to dive into Mercury Retrograde. And this is a very unique Mercury Retrograde for me. And let me just state this, and I've stated it before. I embrace Mercury Retrograde, not the fact that there are glitches, mishaps, miscommunications, and it feels like a time where there's a bit of a setback. Yes, that is the truth. But what I embrace about it is I always engage with it because I know I'm getting an upgrade mentally, intellectually, and from a consciousness perspective. So it's 3 weeks out of the year, a few times a year, because it happens 3 to 4 times a year. But it's 3 weeks where I know I am doing a deep rewire mentally and cognitively. So I encourage you to think about it that way. There's a lot of information that I'm going to share with you today around this Mercury retrograde because it's a bit unique. And November 2025 is like a pressure cooker. There's a lot happening numerologically, astrologically, and energetically. So I would encourage you to take this time to heart and focus internally. Let me give you the pertinent dates first, and then we're going to dive in. Mercury stations retrograde November 9th at 6 degrees of Sagittarius. On November 18th, Mercury retrograde will back up into Scorpio. And on November 29th, Mercury will station direct at 20 degrees of Scorpio. So figure out where that is in your natal chart. That will be another way that you can drill down and get a little bit more precise in terms of where it is impacting you personally. And it'll give you just more data and information to understand and interpret and integrate the upgrade that is happening. But stick with me to the end because I'm going to also share with you some power dates through this Mercury retrograde. And you don't want to miss those because you'll want to capitalize on them. Okay. So this Mercury retrograde is really about not recycling confusion, meaning not recycling old chaos, disease, dysfunction, and indecision. It is truly about integrating wisdom and integrating wisdom through your point of view today, your point of view now. Instead of asking, how do I survive Mercury retrograde? Ask, what part of my mind is ready to evolve? What truth am I brave enough to honor at this time? And I know for many of us, I know for myself, there are some deep truths that sometimes I'm afraid to express in certain circumstances, social environments, with family, sometimes with you. And I'm pretty dang transparent, authentic, and very personal and real. I know that about me. It's where I feel most comfortable in my own skin, but I am quirky. I'm weird. I'm outside in the box. And there are things that are coming through for me that I'm like, gosh, how do I share this with my audience? How do I say it? Well, I'm going to be working on that. So, my question for you is, what truths are you becoming brave enough to really share right now? As Mercury retrogrades back into Sagittarius at 6 degrees of Sagittarius, it will start with your personal philosophies. And as it moves back into Scorpio, it moves into the underworld. So it's asking you to really reframe not only your beliefs and your personal meaning, but also get down to the core and the unconscious of what is going on behind the scenes. So rather than bracing for Mercury retrograde, I invite all of you to treat this as a spiritual refinement process, a chance to clear static from your frequency or your energetic signal, and to let old narratives dissolve. Any outdated old narratives, unconsciously or consciously, allowing those to dissolve and give yourself the space to begin rebuilding the way you speak, the way you listen, and the way that you transmit energy through your presence and your entire frequency field. All right, let's dive in a little bit. Just remember that anytime Mercury retrogrades, the key theme, or any of the planets, anytime any of the planets retrograde, the key theme is fill in the blank, revision, revise, rethink, reconcile. Put in front of anything, and you are re-examining or revising whatever planet is stationing and moving retrograde. So with Mercury, it's about the intellect and the mind, information gathering and sharing. But this Mercury retrograde is truly asking us to slow down a little bit and to listen to the meaning or the frequency behind words. And I know that when I say that, it's a smidge elusive, but you know what I'm talking about. When you can be in a conversation with someone, and you could be doing this as well. I can do this certainly, and be saying one thing and expressing one thing, but really meaning something else. This is the time to get very clear in your own in your own side of the street, in what you say and how you say what you say, and the energy in which you come from. So as Mercury retrogrades in Sagittarius, the theme is mental expansion and belief detox. And what I mean by that is Sagittarius is about expanding your mind. When Mercury turns inward, it's this internal expansion of your mental horizons, how you think, and looking at beliefs that hold you back or limit you, or that keep you in some kind of stasis. What beliefs have been running the program or running the show unconsciously? That's the biggest question you want to ask, and what you want to notice, especially between November 9th and the 18th, before Mercury moves into Sag. And I tell you what, we were driving the other day, my husband and I, and the traffic was really bad. We're here in Cuenca. We know our way around better than we have, but there's certain places where we have to have the navigation on. So we've got the navigation on. The traffic is bad. Drivers are crazy here. There are no rules to the road. And listen, I lived in Belize for 3 years, and driving was crazy down there. The volume is so turned up on crazy drivers. I won't go there, but anyway, so we're driving, we've got the navigation. My phone rings, and then once my phone rings, I couldn't answer it because I was trying to help Dennis, and we were trying to get where we were going. And then next thing you know, Dennis's phone rings and he can't answer it and get where he's going. But immediately when the phone rang and the person who was calling, and I'm sharing this with you because this is like a tangible example of recognizing beliefs that keep me in a lower consciousness. When the phone rang and it was like sequential one after the other, immediately we were already in kind of a heightened anxiety situation. We were fine, but there was a little anxiety in the car. But immediately when this person called and called both of us, like, one after the other, my first thought was, oh, great, they're going to need something from me. And not only did I think it, I could feel it. I was like, I was just getting to a place where I felt like I had everything I needed, and things are stabilizing and things are normalizing. And it's like, oh, they're going to need something from me. And then but it was so funny because in the midst of this driving and getting where we're going, rather than me just saying, oh, shoot, let me call them back in a bit, or let me send a text and say, hey, can't talk right now. Can I call you back in an hour? Whatever it is, I went straight to an old narrative based on interactions and dynamics with this person. But I went to a place of scarcity, fear, fear that I was going to lose my safety and security, feel that my time was going to be infringed upon. I mean, I can list out all the things, but I also felt it in my body. And I will tell you this, I felt it the rest of the drive. Like, not only with the drive, I could feel it. So I was essentially feeling something, thinking something, and basically imprinting a code in my energy field that I was going to be overburdened, overwhelmed, scarcity mode, and somebody needing something from me. And what I felt in all of that is why do I keep reinforcing an old belief system that keeps me here? Why can't I just say, oh, shoot, can I call you back later and drop it at that? That's the kind of stuff I want you to look for. And it's personal. And it's really having to look at yourself and how you go to the Grinch, the bad attitude, bad news bears, bad attitude. And I could feel it and it didn't feel good. And I was frustrated with myself. But I literally that night said, hey, I prayed and I set intentions and I cleared my energy field and said, when that kind of belief comes up and the emotional fuel that reinforces it, I'm ready to shift these beliefs. That is Mercury retrograde in Sag, and that's where your power is. So really ask yourself what belief systems have been running unconsciously and see if you can consciously notice them. What stories have I been preaching that no longer hold resonance? Where have my beliefs become cages rather than wings? Those are the questions you want to ask with Mercury retrograde in Sag. And the upgrades you'll get with Mercury in Sag, once Mercury is moving direct, and this is into December, is your perspective will shift and expand. You will really feel aligned with the frequency in which your future self is kind of pulling you towards, so to speak. And this is really practical alchemy, this belief audit. So it's an opportunity to really recognize and reprogram outdated stories. And you can do this. I can do this. And one thing I want to say is be mindful with Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius of spiritual bypassing, self righteousness, and excessive optimism without grounding. And what I mean by spiritual bypassing is just thinking that you already know it all. Like, I got it. I know it. I'm good. I'm good. I know everything. And that's that self-righteousness too. And that can be one of the dogma is one of the pitfalls of Sag is it's my way, it's my ethos, my philosophy, my dogma. So just be mindful of that. And the excessive optimism piece is rather than gathering the facts, just believing something or assuming. It's kind of this optimistic assumption. And I can totally fall prey to that rather than really sitting with something, grounding something in and gathering my facts. It's kind of saying yes too quickly kind of energy or to being too excited about something when at like you in the cold light of day, you're like, ooh, why did I commit to that? Oh, shoot. I don't want to do that or I don't have time for it. So just be mindful. On November 18th, when Mercury slides back into Scorpio, the game changes. The light of awareness is kind of like it's going to get under your skin. We move from this concept or philosophical reprogramming going on to embodiment, from talking about transformation to actually living it. So it's like the rubber meets the road once Mercury retrogrades in Scorpio. And it's uncomfortable, by the way. I mean, it's a lot of shadow work and confrontation, confronting truths that maybe you've been not wanting to see or those red flags that have been coming up. Now you can't avoid them. Scorpio is where our consciousness gets truly forged by emotional fire, meaning you're going to feel things deeply. And it's really like we can shift our mindset. I can shift my mindset pretty quickly, but the harder part is the emotional shift, the emotional processing. And you may want to go back to the episode I recorded on metabolizing energy, metabolizing emotions. That I think goes hand in hand because Scorpio doesn't like to do that. Scorpio likes to like be in the muck of the emotions. And I got a lot of Scorpio in my chart, so I get it. And you Scorpios out there are like, yeah, we love to be down in the emotional muck, but we can stay down there too long and it starts to really imprint the code that's running the show of our consciousness. So know that with Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, a lot of truths may come to light that'll be very uncomfortable, and just be aware of that. But anything that's coming to light is coming to light to be cleared, especially because we're on a 9 universal year, and the 9 is about closure and completion, and it's coming to a close. We're in the last bit of 2025, and 2026 is a 1 year in numerology. And when we move into the 1, the 9 is purifying us because it's saying we need to refine and get rid of anything you don't need with you on this next phase of your journey, this next decade forward. So anything that has not come to light yet, or like come to a head, like this is prime time television for it, essentially. So just know moving into the shadow is really about moving into sacred truth. It is uncomfortable, it is revealing, but ultimately it's like medicine. It's deep medicine. So it's very penetrating, and it penetrates our psyche, essentially. Sometimes the stuff that we can't get to or access without something experientially shaking us to our core or shaking us awake into reality. So again, it's emotional. And Mercury in Scorpio will always, especially retrograde, will always expose what has been hidden, buried beneath the surface, taboo, not said, what's not being said behind the words. That's Mercury and Scorpio. So the upgrade here is deep truth telling. It's also about integrating some of your shadows. So polarities, we all have a shadow side to us. And what do you think makes your light bright? The darkness. This is the perfect time to excavate some of that old gunk and fear and pain that has been buried and integrate it, merge it. It's also a very psychic energy where intuition and spidey sense is super, super high. So clearing your energy regularly during this is a huge practice that I would encourage. I mean, I encourage that all the time, but with Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, we can get so clouded by other people's energy that we can't tune into our own intuition. So ground, clear your energy as regularly as you can. And because while Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio, Jupiter has already also retrograded in Cancer, and Saturn is retrograde in Pisces, and Neptune is retrograde in Pisces as well. All 3 water signs have planets retrograde: Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Literally, we are being given this psycho-spiritual gift that is purifying, cleansing, and detoxing our psyche, what is buried, what is unconscious. So again, use this wisely, and anything that is painful or confronting, feel it, metabolize it, let it run through you, but know that it is being brought up and cleared because it doesn't need to go with you as you quantum leap into 2026. And we're all getting this collective upgrade. One thing I would also be really mindful of is obsessive thinking. Scorpio can be a little OCD and obsessive and so like piercing and kind of nagging and penetrating at times, that like if you are just so hyper focused and you can't get your mind off of something, you want to do something to counterbalance that. Just be aware of it and do something. Go exercise, go take a shower, pick up the phone and call somebody that makes you laugh your behind off. Don't call somebody that's going to commiserate in your misery. That's the tendency. Like, let's like dig deeper and gossip more and point out this person's flaws or why they're wrong. I mean, that is Mercury retrograde in Scorpio at its darkest. If you notice yourself doing that, be like, dude, I'm getting sucked into the shadow concept here. And also watch out for manipulating and dishonesty. Like, and look for that in yourself. That's where you got control. And notice if other people are doing it, notice that. And what is it reflecting back to you? On November 29th, Mercury will station direct. Whew, hallelujah. And just remember, as Mercury stations retrograde on the 9th and Mercury stations direct on November 29th, the couple of days before and after, that's when the glitches, the miscommunications, the delays happen. Best rule of thumb is not really signing any contracts in and around Mercury retrograde if you can avoid that. And the other thing is just pack extra time into your schedule because there may be a wreck on the interstate or somebody's probably going to cancel something. Like cancel and reschedule. Let stuff roll off your back. Um, like water off a duck's back. Or as my friend Gwen likes to say, I'm Teflon, nothing freaking sticks. I think that's a really good adage for this Mercury retrograde. So on November 29th, hallelujah, there's going to feel, especially as we shift into December, and for multiple reasons, because in December, just as a little preview, we'll be in a 3-month numerologically. And I tell you what, the 3 is about communication and creativity. So I love the astro numerological combination here because with Mercury direct, we're going to feel like we have this rebirth of voice and even our vision, especially as Mercury moves back over the degrees in which it has transited during Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. And then when it re-enters Sagittarius later in December, I think they're going to be there. You're going to feel more clarity and momentum, especially in the way you think and your voice. I mean, you're really getting a mental and psychic upgrade here, and your soul is working to catch you up with all the lessons probably of 2025, because 2025 has been immense for each of us. So let me go through some power dates, and you may want to get your like pen and pencil out, not if you're driving, or and write these down. And if it were me, and this are the things that I do, is I put these little reminders in my phone, in my calendar, in my phone, because that way I'm focused and I'm using the energy in conjunction with my own experience. And that's what I encourage you to do. On November 12th, this day is like a day to watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. It is like foot and mouth disease to the max. So literally close your mouth, breathe and walk away. You can say what you need to say on the 13th, but take a beat. Otherwise, you may blow and then you're making amends for it, or you may overreact kind of from an assumption perspective. So just temper your voice on November 12th. On November 17th, I think it's flipping lucky as all get out. It's like right place, right time energy. It's one of those days where it's just like, I'm going to be in the right place at the right time. And you know what? Luck may be that somebody buys your coffee. Luck may be that somebody cancels an appointment and you have free time to go get your nails done. So just plan to be lucky on the 17th. And it's on a lucky kind of day, a fortunate, right time, right place, right energy kind of day. It's a really good day to pay it forward, like to give a gift to somebody, to buy somebody else's coffee at the coffee shop. On November 20th, there's the Kazemi, the Mercury Kazemi. And what a Kazemi is to get a lot of hype these days. That was a word that was not thrown around. And I see it thrown around astrologically, and I kind of giggle because I'm like, just like Mercury retrograde gets hype and all the other planets retrograde. But what the Kazemi means is Mercury will conjunct with the sun. Mercury is what the Kazemi means in the heart of. So in the heart of the sun. So Mercury retrograde will conjunct with the sun, and it will be conjunct in Scorpio. So this is one of those power days where I think more than anything, it's like psychic, very, very psychic. So clear and cleanse your energy. It's also, I think, a great day to meditate, to go put your bare feet on the ground, to do your meditation practice, to do some kind of energy cleansing, clearing practice for yourself and see what comes through, see what you channel, see what is revealed to you. I think November 21st, write this down. I think there may be a lot of revelations that come to light in whatever your personal experience is on the world stage. Like truth can't be hidden, and it might be kind of wild divine timing stuff, or it may be really shocking truths. November 22nd is totally one of those days you want to set intentions. And also numerologically, November 22nd is 11/22. So numerologically, you've got the master number 11, which is interconnection of the human and the spiritual world. And then you have the master builder, which is bringing things into reality. So what does that mean? Use your intuition and do something practical with it. It's a power day to set intention and take action around that intention. Kind of like a new moon. That's how it feels. On November 24th, it's one of those days where with love, romance, relationships, friendships, partnerships, you want to be vulnerable. Like being vulnerable and saying how you feel and with sincerity gets you a long way. And the word that keeps coming to mind is endearment. When we're authentic and vulnerable with people, we endear them to us. And that's really what the 24th looks like to me. November 26th to me is the biggest money day of the month. Like it's a financial day. So you might get a windfall, or it's a good day to do something financially astute, maybe balancing your budget, invest in something. And I don't mean putting a ton of money into something, but do something that contributes to your abundance. And maybe it is not financial abundance. Maybe it's actually your inner richness. What can you invest in that feels rich and valuable and worthy? But it's a really good money day. November 29th, Mercury will station direct, but on the same day Mercury stations direct, I feel like the energy is just flipping off. Like, be careful, drive mindfully, just watch it. Like, to me, I'm like, something about this energy just feels not okay. So be mindful. And I'm not being fearful or in some kind of like, oh, something catastrophic is going to happen, but something feels very awkward. And November 30th, as we close out the month, I love the energy of this day, because it's one of those days where I feel like it's celebratory, and it's about celebrating joy and love and the people you love and being grateful. And deeper than gratitude is appreciation. So, anyway, write those power days down. I thought that would just be kind of fun this month because, yes, it's November. The holidays are amping up, but just giving you a little bit of a roadmap, especially the way that I utilize my roadmap for myself and with my clients oftentimes. Last but not least, one of the biggest themes that I do want to remind you of during this Mercury retrograde is think about listening more than you communicate. And as I say that, I'm laughing at myself too, because you really want to listen. You want to listen to the sentiments and the frequency behind people's words. Do you trust them? Do you vibe with them? What are they really conveying? What are you really conveying behind your words? During these weeks, notice what conversations loop, what thoughts repeat, what memories resurface. Mercury is showing you what codes want to be rewritten. You don't have to force your clarity. Let meaning, Sagittarius, distill itself. Scorpio, all of that will happen, but just know this is not a time of breakdown of communication. It's a time of creating greater coherence and higher frequency. Take care and be well, everyone.